YouTube, what's going on? Lord Fader coming back at you with another video. Trying to keep the content up. I'm just trying to start my channel. So, as you know, or you probably don't know because I'm nobody and nobody knows me. I listen to a lot of what we would call the black sector of YouTube. Of course, there is no sector of YouTube. YouTube is not divided into sectors, but that's what people do. They look at things, they listen to music, they watch TV shows, and they say, okay, well, where does this belong in my mind? So we got the black sector. Okay. That would encompass people like Tariq Nasheed, Brother Polite, Sarnetta, Tommy Sotomayor, and I'm a avid watcher of all of them. You know, I watch all their stuff. I don't agree with everything that all of them say, you know, but there are a few things that I want to talk about in relation to the people out here that are creating content. First of all, a content creator is basically just an entertainer. You're entertaining people. That's what you're doing. You know, you put your thoughts out there, you put your opinion out there, and you entertain people. It's like Fox News mixed with Def Comedy Jam as far as this, you know, end of YouTube is concerned. You know, and some are better than others at it. But what it is it's a, how should I say? It's a good picture, a good representation of the black community when you see what people are doing if you give them the internet and a webcam. Now, it may not be exclusive just to black people, but I'm black, so I focus on black people. So I've been listening to a lot of things that people have to say, and I see a lot of beefs that go on, and there are beefs between white YouTubers. I just watched one against Rageaholic and some other guy that, you know, they had a beef and they did the same thing that we do. So a lot of people always say, well, the black sector ain't nothing but beefing. Nah, it ain't just beefing, and also everybody does it. Okay. But you know, I look at people's points, and being a male, I tend to look for logic in things that I see. So I'll start with Tariq Nasheed. You know, Tariq Nasheed strikes me as a hustler, like a pimp. I mean, you know, if you look at his history, he's tried to do a whole bunch of things related to entertainment, rapping, acting, whatever it may be. And all of a sudden, he started making these documentaries, you know, based on imparting knowledge to black people. Now, ain't nothing wrong with that. And, you know, more power to the brother for doing that. But what I find strange is he did curiously leave out Jewish people and their part in the slave trade. It's like talking about Hollywood or entertainment and you leave out Jewish people. That just was conspicuous to me. I mean, it may not be conspicuous to anybody else, but this channel is called Lord Fader's Perspective. That's my perspective. So, it seems that the brother has found a good niche for himself, and ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't listen to him a whole lot because a lot of what he says I disagree with from the standpoint of I don't believe in white supremacy. I don't believe in black supremacy. I don't believe in supremacy. No one person is supreme to another person. But I can tell you this. If I go about telling you all day that you're supreme to me, then you are, because that's the way I think of you in my mind. You're supreme to me. Okay, that out of the way. Also, it seems whenever someone criticizes this guy, he never actually addresses the points that you criticize. He just starts roasting. And he's good at it. You know, I watched his roast. I mean, a lot of times, I know I watch a lot of Tommy Sotomayor also, and he says that he's the best roaster. And he's pretty damn good. But I think Tariq out-roasted him in the roast between the two of them. And only because Tariq put so much more effort into it than Tommy did. I don't think Tariq was such a big deal to Tommy as far as needing to assassinate his character. That's Tariq's thing. See, what he does, he has to assassinate your character in order to make him look better than the last person. But if you just go point by point like a debate, he has nothing to stand on. And if you think that I don't have a point as far as that goes, just look at any of the interviews he did on Fox News with Tucker Carlson, or that time he debated Jared Taylor. I mean, he really does not stand on facts. It's just like most black people, it's feelings. So, more power to the brother. May he do what he do. I know he was beefing with Michi X. And, I like Michi. I haven't listened to her as far as tuned into her channel and listened to her content. So I don't have anything to say about her content. The way she speaks, a lot of people have problems with that. But, we in America, free speech. You can say what you want to. And if I don't like what you say or how you say it, I can just tune off. That's the beauty of having an internet connection. You can always disconnect. But the times I have seen her, she's been on Tommy's platform, and she seems to be very logical for a female. Most females don't deal in the world of logic. That's been my experience. But she seems to be very logical, and she can concede points, and that's why I think people tune into her. She was beefing with him about how much it costs to do a conference. And, I guess that's her opinion about, what it costs. The only point that she really had was that Tariq doesn't do anything unless it pays him. I really ain't got no problem with that. It's just that he tries to hide behind this "I'm so pro-black" when it ain't about you being pro-black. It's about you, making money. So, not knowing anything about either of them's personal life or how they get down or whatnot, he says that, he wants to throw a high-class event that black people are used to gutter stuff. And he says that she wants to throw the cheapest situation possible. I don't think that that's true. I think that she, would probably do a good job. But this whole notion of setting up a conference, going somewhere to hear someone speak and give you knowledge about something that doesn't change anything or change the way that you live or change the way that you react to the world is useless. And the only thing that ever comes of it is the person that's throwing it gets paid, and they make a living off that. There's a chitlin circuit of people going around, black people going around, imparting knowledge to other black people and getting them to pay to come see it and hear it. Seems to be a big thing in New York and, with Sonnet and Polite now. It is what it is. If that's what you guys get down on, that's cool. But I don't think that black people understand that that's not really valuable. What's valuable, if you want to change the world, is a mirror. That's the only way you can change the world. You can't make me do anything. You can't make me think another way. You can't make me live my life any different. You can't make me. You may give me some information and I may decide to change, and that's well and fine. But you can't make me do what I don't want to do. So the only way I can change is if first I want to change, and second, I change myself and how I relate to the world. So if I'm a deadbeat dad and I'm not paying child support, even if they put me in jail, they can't make me pay it. I have to decide that I want to do that. And, that's all well and good. So that's the only way that you can change the world is to change yourself. As you change, people out here, you ever notice they'll make up a phrase, like clout, and all the other people will do it. Well, what if we, instill morals and dealt with each other correctly and with compassion and with empathy? Then other people may just emulate that the way they emulate the slang terms and stuff. All right, well, that's cool. But the title of this video is, What's Really Wrong with Tommy Sotomayor? And I say that because I watch Tommy and I watch a lot of people that don't like Tommy. And their main criticism of him seems to be he's a child predator, of which I have really seen no evidence. Or that he disrespects black women and black people, by the way, black men. Okay. Yeah, I get all of that. And as I said before, you live in America, man. If that man wants to say something about somebody, that's his right. He can do that. If I don't like it, I tune out. Now, like I said, I'm Lord Fader, and I'm Lord Fader in his chat, and I'm in his chat. And a lot of times I just watch. I'll comment when, I feel the need to comment or whatnot, but he ain't never had a problem with my comments, and I ain't never had a problem with him and nothing that he says. If I'm commenting, that means I agree with what the man is saying. But it seems to me the point of, let's take it, go bullet by bullet, child molestation. Okay, this man related in a story years ago that when his daughter, he used to take showers with his daughter, and she was 5 years old when he said she started to notice things. She started to notice stuff that she previously didn't notice. So he said he stopped taking showers with her. Now, I don't have a problem with what he do, with his family or whatnot. I got daughters. I used to bathe them. I used to have to change them and stuff like that. I never took a shower with them, but that's just me. That's my choice. You know what I mean? That doesn't prove one way or the other that he did anything untoward to his child. Same way that he related about her mother. When her mother said she started noticing things, that just means they're grown enough to start taking a shower by themselves. A lot of families bathe together. You can go to India, people just get in the river and just bathe and they don't even know each other. That doesn't make these people predators. That says more about a person that would accuse a person of something than it does of the person actually doing it, that your mind is so focused on sex that you can't envision a father watching his daughter. Let me tell you something. My daughter will be 30 years old this year. And I've never had one sexual thought about my daughter in those almost 30 years. It's the dynamic between a father and a daughter is a protective one. I always tell her, I'm the only man on earth that don't want anything from you other than for you to succeed. That's what I want. So when I buy you something, it's not because I want something. If I get out my bed in the middle of the night to come help you out, it's not because I want something. So what a father does is imprint that upon his daughter. So my daughter's almost 30. She ain't got no kids. She ain't got no kids because she don't want no kids. But at the same time, it just says something about she understands that if you're going to procreate with a man, I always tell her, don't give yourself fully to any man who wouldn't do more than what I would for you. And I don't want anything from you. So that's covering the silly allegations about, and also a lot of women seem to have a problem with men liking younger women. If a woman is 18, she's a woman. Matter of fact, you guys will say if she gets pregnant and has a baby at 14, 15, 16, she's a woman. Okay, I don't agree with having sex with people that young. Personally, they don't attract me. But 18 and up, I am good. And you got to understand, I'll be 50 next week. And I like young women. Let me tell you the reason why I like young women over older women. First of all, less baggage. That's less baggage. You don't got to deal with somebody else's kid. Ain't nothing like you walking around the house looking at somebody else's nut, looking you back up in the face, looking just like that nigga. I mean, if we were lions in the jungle, I would kill that little motherfucker. I mean, that's what I would do. But we're not, wired like that. We're supposed to be civilized. So that's the way that goes. And I get that. But you have to understand that it's like buying a car. All you women out there, when you go out and buy a car, when you look at that car, and that car may have nice fat rims and a nice paint job on it, but when you get in it to start it and it, or you look at that odometer and it's 250,000 miles on it, would you buy it? Versus another car, same rim, same paint job, you get in it, 75 miles on the odometer. Which one of those cars would you think is better? Okay, that's the way we look at women. All of y'all have a vagina. All cars have tires. You're not special just because you have one. What's special is the wear on those tires or your vagina. See, people like to play this sexual dynamic game where they think and say, well, women can do what men do, and and that's not working out for you, because what inevitably will happen is people are having sex that shouldn't be having sex, and people are having kids that shouldn't be having kids, and women are being irresponsible sexually. And women are designed to be irresponsible. That's what they do. I mean, you go back to cave times, they always procreated with the strongest one. When the next guy came along that killed that guy and he took over, they procreated with him. It's their natural inclination to do so. I don't fault women for being women. What I fought them for is not understanding their nature, and when they lose by acting the way they act, they still want to be seen as valuable. if you got 3 kids, 2 or 3 different daddies, what value are you to a person? You're just something to have sex with. And that's the role I would play in your life. I'll come along, we have sex, but that's it. Your kids got daddies, anything got to do with your kids, you rock with their daddy, all that good stuff. I'm just saying that it seems like, women don't understand this principle. I'm gonna break this principle down to you so that you will understand. And I know if you're brainwashed by, growing up in this society, you're not gonna take anything I say and use it. Like I said, change starts in the mirror. But a woman is like a lock. A man is like a key. Now, a woman that's a lock only requires one specific key to open. That's her function. That's how she functions, right? A man can be that key to that specific lock. Some men are a master key. These are your alphas. These are the guys that can open many locks. But when a woman makes herself open to any old key, how valuable is her protection? What is she protecting if anybody can come along and open it? Now, your kids, your mental state, your well-being, that's what you're protecting by locking your legs together and only giving it to a guy that's worth it. We've totally lost that. And I understand that that's y'all's right. Just like it's anybody's right to say what they say, or my right to say what I'm saying. That's your right to do that. But when you wind up in a bad situation, and you probably will wind up in a bad situation because the other dynamic is Father Time. He plays a little bit different with men than he do with women. If a woman is 35 years old, she's on the downhill, she on the downslope, big time. As far as looks go, that's when your gut start to poke out. You might still have a fat butt, but that gut start to poke out. Those breasts start to hang. You might be holding on, a little bit. You can put on clothes, push it up, suck it in, and still have dudes hollering at you. But when he get home and you take all that stuff off, and then for black women, when you take off that rug off your head, or even have that same rug on that you've been had on 2 or 3 months, it stinks. It's been to the club. It's got club smoke in it. It's been through sex with certain dudes. It's probably got dudes' DNA all in it, all that good stuff. It's just crazy how, we in our society behave in a certain way that's detrimental to us. So in order to combat that, we do one or two things. We go into church and we live like heathens from Monday to Saturday, and then we pray that Jesus forgive our sins on Sunday, and we do it again. Now, if you die on Wednesday, what happened? I don't know. Or you go pay some pro-black guy to tell you that you was a queen and that you deserve this and black women are goddesses, and you fills your head up, and that works until you realize that's not true and you go pay somebody else to hear it again. I get that. But what we need to understand is that the women in our society get online, make videos, or even record it, out acting an absolute fool. If a man comes along and takes that video that's freely available, and a lot of times uploaded by these very same women, if he finds that on the internet and then he comments on it and gives his opinion on it, that is not degrading anyone. The person who posted the video and conducted the behavior degraded themselves. So that's why when I hear a lot of people say, oh, Tommy Sotomayor degrades women. I done seen Young Pharaoh do it. I've seen Polite do it. Everybody. But y'all specifically focus in on Tommy Sotomayor because I think what's going on is he's a little bit more intelligent and breaks things down with a little bit more psychology than the rest of these guys. And it's the truth. And a hit dog will holler. And a lot of y'all out there hollering because you hit. You have an instant problem with what he's saying about women, then he probably talking about you. There are a lot of women out there who don't have that problem because he ain't talking about them. So, it's just, if you're going to have a problem with the guy, have a problem with the guy. If you're going to disagree with something, then disagree with one of his points. there are certain points I might find slight disagreement with the man, but I also understand I'm not intelligent enough to get in the ring with this guy and have a debate and come out on top. He just would talk rings around because he's just more intelligent, he's more focused, and he's been doing it for, I don't know, a number of years. So, I mean, what's the real problem with him degrading black women when I haven't seen him degrade black women? What I've seen is even when he has so-called ratchet women, you know, one-on-one or whatnot, they'll come on there and they'll start out great. But as soon as he start pointing out some of the same things I went over, they lose it because they want to defend bad behavior because that's how they behave. They don't look objectively at it and say, well, that has not worked out for me. I am not in a great place right now because of the way I behave, not the way anybody else behave, but the way I behave. Then when they start denying simple truth and logic and defending fuckery, he goes off. It ticks him off. And that's when we get to the part of the conversation that I like. When he get on them and he just, you know, goes off, man, because Tommy funny when he go off. I'm sorry. So that, you know, that's my opinion on that right there. I mean, if I had something to disagree, he has these call-in shows all the time where he says, anybody who got a problem with me, call in. I want to call in, but I don't really have a big problem with a whole lot of the stuff that he do. I mean, I think he's a narcissist, but at the same time, I think that's what makes him successful. You have to think highly of yourself in order to succeed. See, I'm an introvert. I don't like people. I do what I do, you know, and I go to work and I come home and I don't really go out. I don't club, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't hang out, I don't do any of that stuff because I don't really like people because to me, you're a bunch of velociraptors. You'll betray people for a peanut. And to keep me from choking the hell out of one of y'all or winding up, locked up or dead, I'd just rather not deal with you. But also, that's a hindrance for me to do things like get up in front of a camera and talk and speak my mind, or go out and, you know, speak in front of people, or, you know, have these certain endeavors where I can make money or even make myself a brand or anything like that. That's detrimental to me. But if I was a narcissist and I thought so highly of myself, it would help me brand myself. It would help me put myself out there. That's the way that works. There are really no successful YouTubers who are not narcissists. And I think also, you know, I think that he talks about sex a little bit too much because I think sometimes there are children listening, you know, and even when they're not listening, they're going to find these videos and you know, he's got sexual freedom just like gay people or anybody else. You can do what you want to do. I don't agree with a lot of the way he does that. I do understand the strategy of you introduce sexual talk to a woman and she knows immediately that you're trying to have sex with her. That's kind of the way that works. So, you know, if you interviewing a woman and you bring up, oh, you know, let me give you an analogy. If you were sucking my dick and you know, it goes into that a lot. And all that's for is to introduce that sexual talk to the woman so she knows subconsciously this guy want to have sex. So it's up to her at that point. So he ain't got to be like, well, I was shooting at you necessarily. Then she ain't got to be like, well, you know, he was shooting at me in case she got a man and she ain't down with it. But to me, in order to change, you know, we have to understand that we are public figures. There are children out here that watch. And maybe that's introducing them. What our problem is in our society as far as the black community, we got children thinking about sex before they're thinking about education, before they're thinking about getting a job, before they're thinking about becoming financially independent. They're thinking about sex. So it just doesn't help. But it's his choice. He does what he wants to. I ain't got no problem. So that's it on the Tommy Sotomayor side of the game. I'm going to go to Sarnetta and Brother Polite. These brothers right here, especially Polite. Polite is a very shady person in my opinion, but also shares some of the same traits that I mentioned Tommy has. He's a narcissist, but that's what makes the man successful. Only thing I don't like about a lot of these pro-black dudes is if you look at their background, a lot of them are ex-cons, most of them, or these thug dudes that, you know, pretend to have some type of knowledge, and I get that. And, you know, they're out here upholding hood rats and all of these women who are being sexually irresponsible and calling them queens. That right there don't do nothing. After this video, I'm gonna play you a song I did because I do music. You know, I do try. You can love it or hate it. I get all of that, but I'm gonna play you a song called Black Queen that really describes how I feel about calling a black woman a queen. Probably gonna hate that very much, but it is what it is. But that guy, but once again, Polite also shares that intelligence level that Tommy has. I mean, the brother is very learned and very intelligent. I think he knows that 50% of what he's talking about is not true, but that 50% that is true, he can stand on and he can back it up. And that's where he gets a lot of people that, because black people don't tend to study. We don't tend to learn. We tend to go off feelings. I feel something should be a certain way, therefore it is. And the world just don't work like that. So I understand that too. And also I've heard, about him scamming people. Sorry. Heard about him scamming. Supposedly Young Pharaoh's got a lawsuit he won against him. I've also seen a couple of people on the internet say he scammed him in some of the business ventures that he had or whatnot. That's neither here nor there. I don't think that I would give him any money no more than I would give Omar Johnson any money, any of them guys any money, because first of all, you have to have a proven track record of what you're doing. So, me just giving you money. I also got to say, when I say give money, I have donated to Tommy Sotomayor. As I said, I donate when he's talking about something or putting something out there in the world that I agree with. I went through a bad breakup, where my woman was cheating on me with the same dude that's at work. Even had us eating lunch together, as much of a simp as I was. And he started talking about, he got on that subject one day, so I donated. In those cases like that, I donate, So as far as you giving your money to Brother Polite or Umar, I said Omar, my bad. Umar Johnson, as far as you giving your money to them guys, that's fine, but I wouldn't expect any return on any of that. If you just want them to live and you want to support their lifestyle and what they do, like I said, I am a vet, and I did serve in the military, and half of it was I wanted to take care of my family. The other half is I wanted to ensure that people were free. So everybody's free to do as they like, as long as it don't hurt someone else or say what they like. Now, the difference between saying something and hurting somebody is that it's so subjective, you'll never be able to say anything, because everything you say can be construed as hurting someone. That's why speech is protected under free speech. That is why the concept of hate speech doesn't exist. There is no hate speech, because one person may hate it, one person may not. So it doesn't have a defined state. So you can't legislate it, but they do. But that's a different story. So, the Brother Polite, man, he's knowledgeable. I listen to him sometimes because it's fun to hear him kind of do in the black community what Tommy does with black women. He kind of destroys some of these so-called intellectuals, especially that fool Black Jesus, whoever he is. Wow, he's a comedy routine. That guy's gold. Every time they can get that guy on something, get Black Jesus on it. If you don't know who that cat is, man, look him up, because he is comical, man. So that brings me to Sarnetta. And like I said, I think Sarnetta has good intentions, man. I really think he want to help black people. And I'm in his age group, and, we came through the civil rights situation, believing that, we need this leader, and we followed these people and their philosophies, and some of them were good, some of them were bad, some of them helped us a little bit, and some of them hurt us a little bit. But, our only goal was to advance our people. And, it take a bit of living and a bit of wisdom to understand what really will advance our people. And, Sarnetta's trying, but at the same time, he is dependent on people buying his product, which is debates, which is, black consciousness or whatnot. And it's a product to these guys. And I think we all need to understand that. I'm not saying they don't believe it, but I am saying that it's a product. And that's my problem with the pro-black situation, is that none of these guys have ever did anything that helped anybody as far as the message that they're putting out. It's getting worse. Our women are having more babies by more useless brothers, and it's causing more crime, and it's causing more situations. Now, one thing I want to clear up, though, is I say a lot about the woman because that's like the most transparent, quickest issue you could go with. But the real fault lies in men. It's our fault. It's my fault if I'm dealing with a woman that, number one, I had no chance at helping grow, that I had no chance in speaking any type of logic to her, and she wound up doing me dirty, or I wound up doing her dirty. because I chose the wrong woman, number one. So that's the first thing. If men would not choose women based on solely on how they looked, but the content of their character, then we could solve a lot of this. And what would happen is we would be marrying these good women, and the women that want to get out there and act a fool, no one will pay attention to them. Because in a woman's world, I have found in my 50 years of living on earth that they value attention more than they value love. They even think that's what love is. If somebody's paying them attention, they want to feel special. And if a guy can make your woman feel special, he can have sex with her, point blank. Now, what would stop a woman from having sex with a guy if she's in a committed relationship, if somebody else makes her feel good, is the character of that woman. So it's not that woman's fault that she's a hoe. It's that guy's fault, me, because I picked that. I knew that, and I went into that, and that's how that turns out. So it's always the man's fault because the man is a leader. I told an analogy earlier about the lock and the key. That master key is just that. It's a master. Even just being a key, if you can open one specific lock, that's the lock for you. That's the woman that will listen. That's the woman you see will grow. That's the woman you see will not do you dirty. That's the woman you see that even though she looks good and get a lot of attention from men, she's loyal to you. Because another thing that women don't understand is what love actually is. Now, I used to ask my daughters this. I have 2 daughters. And I ask them the question, well, what is love? And they always go, well, that's when you want to be with somebody, you can't live without. I said, that's just possession. What's love? So they always get stumped. And most women are going to get stumped because they're really incapable of loving. Men, on the other hand, are capable of love. And I'm going to explain the difference. I know a lot of women will have a problem with this, but you're going to have a problem with pretty much everything I talk about. But the difference is that love is loyalty and sacrifice. If you're a Christian, that's why they say, so God loved the world so much that he gave his only begotten son. Whether you believe it or not, that sacrifice is love. That loyalty is love. It's really true love. When you love a woman, if she won't have sex with you no more, you still love her. If she wants to end your relationship and be with somebody else, all you want is for her to be happy. That's love. That means you sacrifice your own wants for her to go be with whoever she wants to be. And you're loyal to her as far as letting her do that and not disrespecting her by going and being with somebody else. These are things that it all trickles down from the man. The problem is we so many generations into single motherhood that men have lost the art of being a man. They've lost it. I've got one young male in my life that I feel like I can help. He listens. He's turned his life around. He's gotten in shape. He's going to school. He got himself a job. And even though he has a child, he's trying to take care of that child, and he's putting that child first, and he's not thinking about women. And he's doing all of this because he understands and he sees me as an example and how I've lived and the things that I have, and he's saying, hey, I want to be successful. And the way that he was coming up by living from the principle, now he grew up with a single mother. So the way he's coming up, living by those principles wasn't working for him. He will find himself in trouble most of the time, reacting emotionally most of the time. And this is not a knock on women. You do the best you can, and you are very nurturing, and you take care of our kids, and we should be there. But you have to understand that for a man to be emotional, that's the reason why we have most of the wars that we have, most of the conflict that we have is men are emotional. So anyway, I was on Sarnetta, and like I said, I like Sarnetta. I've never donated to Sa simply because I don't like the whole pro-black thing. You don't tell me the truth. Sometimes that's why I listen to Tommy Sotomayor. Sometimes I listen to the guy and he's saying some things that maybe apply to me, and I could do better. And instead of getting angry about that and not tuning in, what I do is I say, okay, let me get introspective. Let me pull that mirror out and see if I really do need to change. And that's hard. That took me, decades to understand. But I can tell everybody out there that I'm good, I'm successful, I'm not broke, none of that. But I also ain't dating right now because you women right now feel like you're at a point of no return. It's just no reason to have a relationship with any of you because you don't even understand what it is. And that goes a long way also to why a lot of men are not with you. It has less to do with us being no good or deadbeats than it does, you don't know how to treat people. You're so selfish and self-absorbed that you'll kill that kid if it's in your best interest. Or you'll have that kid if it's in your best interest. You think you can get some money out of it. That is a selfish person. You can't have a person like that and build with a person like that. You can't. Because as soon as you try to tell her, hey, you know, you're getting a little big, you need to lose a little weight. Hey, I'm exercising. Won't you come exercise? She ain't gonna do it. You could be like, hey, you know, we eating the wrong stuff. You know, let's eat better and you know, lose some weight. No woman can really stay on the diet. Not no woman. Many women can't stay on the diet that you're dealing with. What they'd rather do is put on the Spanx, suck the gut in, put on somebody else's hair. And some dude out there who hadn't slept with her yet is going to be trying to sleep with her. And that's all the validation that she needs. How can you have families like that? You can't, really. So anyway, this video is meant to ask the question to all the detractors out there, to the Zones, to the Jurassic Sissies, and I call you that because that's what Tommy called you. I don't know you by anything else. To the Jazzies, to all of these people out there that have a real problem with Tommy. I listened to y'all and I've not yet heard a real valid point. You've not attacked one of his points. If I could give one of y'all any advice on how to really make a dent in Tommy Sotomayor's platform, anything, be right about something. Have a true and valid point. His personal life is not the way to go. It's what he says. This is why you guys lose. This is why you make a video and he can sit there and pick each and every part apart. Because first of all, you have to lie because you don't know him personally. So everything you know about him, either you had to look it up or someone else says it. You have no evidence. And we already know black people don't research. But you do have his words that come out of his mouth. So if he says something, then bam. I can think of one small thing. Okay, I remember back when, what's the comedian name? The little short, dark-skinned dude. I'm sure everybody know who I'm talking about. That everybody thinks funny. I don't particularly enjoy the dude content, but they think he's funny. Kevin Hart, that's him. Back when Kevin Hart said all of those things about gay people and it came back to bite him and he refused to apologize and went back to the Oscars and then he eventually apologized, Tommy was like, well, I wouldn't have apologized. You shouldn't have apologized. You ain't do nothing wrong. That's how you felt. That was fine. But then I saw him on that show with Vivica Fox and basically he apologized to that girl and kind of backed up off of his stance a little bit. And I understand he's going to disagree with that, and that's fine. And like I said, if we were to go head to head, he'd destroy me. But that's my perception, and that's how I perceived it, is that that man did basically what you did, but you had a problem when he did it. That's what I mean by having a point and going against the guy. Now, I probably wouldn't win on that point because it's kind of weak. But that's my disagreement. And if I were to have a debate with the guy, that's what I would be standing on. And also, if I were to do that, I would make sure I had the video where he said this and the video where he did this. Because everybody always say, pull it up. And nobody's memory is good enough to say, oh, well, you said it before on one show. He can always say when and where. So that's another thing. If you're going to go against somebody, you want him to be gone so much, do your research, have your things ready, and stand on your point. But as far as talking about this man is a pervert or this man is a child predator, you know, what's perverted to one person is normal to another. It's just like the bathing with your kids. I ain't do it, but that don't mean it's wrong. If families want to bathe together, that's fine. There's places all over the world where families bathe together. All throughout history, you can find that. So there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean anything. So for me to be harping on that, when first of all, it's not even a point. Now I got to lie and say she was 8. I got to lie and say she was 12, you know, just to make it more convincing, just to bolster a point that's based off a point that you're going to lose anyway. It's the same way with black women. You cannot defeat this man sitting up talking about black women because y'all are out of pocket. Bad. All of y'all. Look, see that? That's hair. That grows out of my scalp. It ain't nothing to look at and it ain't much, but that's my hair. I don't have to go put on a wig of a white man. I don't have to do like we did in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s and chemical it up just to make my hair look straight. Remember how ridiculous black men look? Think about James Brown when he had that process back in the day. You didn't realize how stupid that looked? That's how you black women look today. You have somebody else's hair on your head when you grow hair, and your hair is fabulous. Ain't nothing I love more than to see a woman with her hair. The way that y'all can do it, I like it when y'all have it like crimped to where it's not dreads, but it's kind of separated, but it's like a fro. Man, let me tell you something. Y'all make that look good, and it's so unique. White women can't even do it. It's like with dreads. White boys try, but when you see them wearing dreads, you go, man, that looks horrible. That's the same way people feel about your hair and wearing weave. You can wear it if you want to, but it's your need to wear it. Always. Every time you leave the house. You won't take it off at night. You spend more money doing that than you do anything else, but you crying about you broke. That's crazy, man. So if you're on welfare and you got a weave, there's a reason why you're on welfare. I mean, so I'm just saying, some things, man, you know, we can change. We could change today. We could put billions of dollars back in our economy right now just on weave if we just didn't partake. Those Asians wouldn't know what to do if y'all did that. But like I said, you're not going to do it, you know, because your mind is controlled by devils. You listen to the doctrine of demons. That's what makeup is. That's what soothsaying and card tarot reading. It's demonic. That's what dope and drugs are. Now, I'm against smoking weed because I believe it's an altered state. You don't have to alter your state. The state you were made in is superior to any state. It's just the state that you're in all of the time. That's why you think that altered state is better, when really it's a lower state of being. You're numbed to a certain extent on drugs. And I've done a lot of them. I used to smoke a lot of weed, peyote. I've done stuff. But, and I used to think that in order for me to make this fat beat, I got to be high. Until I actually conducted the experiment, did one sober, did one high. And there's no discernible difference, except the one I did sober, I was able to spend more time on because I didn't get disinterested. I wasn't tired. I didn't get the munchies. And it sounded better. So, that's my opinion on a whole bunch of stuff. As a matter of fact, that's my perspective. So I want people to understand that, you can listen to every word I said and disagree with every word that I say. Your comments are welcome. I ain't down with blocking nobody, but stupid people gonna be stupid people. And I may engage some of y'all, but I have learned past 2 or 3 comments, it ain't really worth, because some people just not gonna change and they're gonna always be negative. And you can always understand this point right here. If you follow somebody stupid home, somebody stupid gonna answer the door. So it ain't nothing you can do about it. But that's my video. I appreciate everybody who took the time to listen to this. And I do want you to understand this one last point, man. I need somebody to seriously tell me what's really wrong with Tommy Sotomayor that don't make up anything and has verified evidence of what they say. If y'all can do that, I'd really appreciate that, because from what I'm seeing right now, all y'all losing, and that's the reason why you're losing. Take it easy.
Why do you keep calling yourself a black queen? When all you really are is a dick fiend. Queens don't follow other people, they rule. You don't do anything a black queen do. Having babies by the Justus and the Crooks. You wearing fake hair, you don't like your look. Fake bitch, you used up, no one can tell you a thing. You had your fun, now you want a black king. Now first of all, let's get something straight. It ain't all black women that I hate, nah. It's just them hoes that be living like tricks. All they do is move from dick to dick, expecting you to treat them better than the last dude. Kinda funny how they got a bad attitude. Relationships with married men like it's forever. When they get dropped, tell them to get his shit together. Living in the world that don't have birth control. Who's the daddy? The bitch don't know. 3 different kids by 3 different niggas, and ain't one of them making 3 figures. Broke as hell, but she keep her hair hat on. Can't campaigning for a Similac, but she got a phone so she can stay on YouTube and Facebook Live, trying to convince everybody to believe her lies. Why do you keep calling yourself a black queen? When all you really are is a dick fiend. Queens don't follow other people, they rule. You don't do anything a black queen do. Having babies by the jesters and the crooks. You wearing fake hair, you don't like your look. Fake bitch, you used up, no one could tell you a thing. You had your fun, now you want a black king. Pound that makeup on like cake batter, but won't take care of your skin, that don't matter. Always talking like you some psychologist. When's the last time you saw the gynecologist? Don't act like you don't know your coochie stink. That ain't me, bitch, and I don't care what you think. You want them thugs till you find out that they not shit, but you trying to raise your son to be hood rich. Teaching your daughters to lay back and spread their leg. No education, so they can't keep their baby fed. Without white daddy, still they think they're doing something. All because your mama chose a man that wasn't nothing. So it's kinda hard for me to blame white folks when our women walk around like a big joke. So somebody please tell me what's the punchline? Call yourself a black queen, bitch, you out your mind. Why do you keep calling yourself a black queen? When all you really are is a dick fiend. Queens don't follow other people, they rule. You don't do anything a black queen do. Having babies by the jesters and the crooks. You wearing fake hair, you don't like your look. Fake bitch, you used up, no one could tell you a thing. You had your fun, now you want a black king.
And I will always tell you the truth. Always. I was never a prostitute. I was never an escort. There's no man out there that can say that he actually paid, for my services. There's no man out there that could say that and actually be telling the truth and got some legitimate proof that he paid for some sex.